Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box, where it was on this week in 2002 that American Idol first premiered on Fox. Now, why was this show important? Well, music was in retreat on television, that thing that still was relevant in 2002, and it was in retreat mainly for two reasons. The great variety shows of the 20th century had all but dried up by this time. You would still get musical guests on Leno and Letterman, but the great sort of things, the Midnight Special, the Dean Martin Show, the Sonny and Cher Show, Don Kirshner's Rock Concert, all of these types of shows were gone. So apart from the late night TV and the occasional Can Today Show appearance, music was in retreat. And the other big thing that happened was the MTV was playing fewer and fewer music videos, which was a trend that accelerated as the 21st century moved on. When American Idol, therefore, came on, it really injected music right back into the heart of television. Now, was the show overly slick, overly produced? Did it rely too much on vocalists where it could have maybe shown a spotlight on instrumentalists? Yeah, all of those criticisms are true. Was it rigged? I mean, elections are rigged, so I don't know. I don't know. I suppose I trust the election system of American Idol a bit more than other things. But the point is, for all of its flaws and for all of the bombast and for all of the fact that Simon Cowell isn't the most um, a, he's a bit of an SOB. At least he comes off that way. But it was a show that got people thinking about music. It's a show that got people wanting to sing. Maybe it even got people wanting to play an instrument. And while the hyper competitiveness of the whole thing made for great television, music's not a competition. It's not a sport. Music is something that is to be appreciated as it's delivered. There's no real way to rank it. There's no playoff system. How would that even work in music? So yeah, it had flaws, but I think by making music front and center of everything, it helped pave the way for other things like Glee and High School Musical, which, yes, it's for teeny boppers, it's overly polished. You're not going to find someone like me with my Zappa collection listening to it, but beggars can't be choosers. Anything that gets people into music, particularly from a young age, I think should be celebrated. And American Idol really helped in the world's biggest media market to put music back on the map. And in so doing, it did create some people who had lasting talent. I think, where did Adam Lambert come from? Was it American Idol or a show similar? Let me look that up because he, of course, is someone who's had a huge solo career and, of course, is the lead singer of Queen. Yeah, he came from American Idol. Clay Aiken became a pretty big talent. Kelly Clarkson, huge star was made from that show. Ruben Studdard, there are other names as well. And so it didn't, I mean, there's all the thing, oh, well, people flop. It's a reality TV show, one hit wonder. And yeah, you need to truly have a great to truly be good at entertaining audiences, performing live and doing the, filthy club to filthy club, the whole Spinal Tap routine. You do need to do that, but who's to say that some of the people who went on this show didn't do that and just thought, well, let me take a chance. For them, it's no different than a young Van Halen going into a record company, straight from Gazzari's, which was their stop after the house parties in Pasadena. So again, I think, well, some of the criticism of this show is fair. I think a lot of it isn't, because anything that gets music into the news and into the pop culture and gets people motivated to do music, I think is important. Now, ideally, this should make people want to gig and take lessons, not just sort of hope that they'll win the next Simon Cowell approved record contract that I'm guessing wasn't very fair to the musicians. That's just a guess. That's just a guess. But look, some people will have been inspired from this to do that. And for that alone, I think we can overlook sort of the plasticness of it and say, look, it put music back on television at a time when the internet still was a place to talk about who may or may not have landed on the moon, but not necessarily the place to become the next big singer. So there you go. As always, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.